Good evening and welcome to the City of Asheville's Annexation Public Information Meeting. Tonight's meeting represents the third in a six-step process required for the city to annex unincorporated areas. The first step occurred on February 23rd when the City Council adopted resolutions stating its intention of annexing 12 areas contiguous to the city. Next, on March 9th, City Council approved a plan for the extension of services into these 12 areas. During tonight's meeting, City staff will present the plan of services and answer questions regarding it and the annexation areas. Following tonight's meeting, on Tuesday, May 11th, City Council will hold a public hearing where affected people may address City Council regarding the proposed annexations. Staff will also present the plan of services and answer questions of City Council. Following the public hearing, at a separate meeting scheduled for Tuesday, May 25th, City Council will consider adopting ordinances to annex the proposed areas and determine when these areas will be brought into the city. The final step is implementation of the services plan. Following this pre-recorded presentation, staff from various city departments will be on hand to answer specific questions about the annexation services plan and the annexation areas. What is annexation? Simply, it is the extension of a city's corporate limits. The areas the city proposes for annexation must be developed to urban standards as defined by the state. Once annexed, property owners and residents are entitled to city services. They are also subject to city's taxes and ordinances. The authority for cities to annex is established by North Carolina state statutes. These statutes state that the purpose of cities is to provide services necessary for sound urban development, which is essential to the economic development of the state. The statutes recognize that residents and property owners within areas adjacent to the city benefit from city services and therefore have the responsibility for sharing in the cost of those services. The statutes can be summed up by the statement, "That which is urban should be municipal." In order for a proposed annexation area to meet the state's definition for urbanization, there are certain standards the area must meet. First, the proposed annexation area must be adjacent to the city, and at least 1/8 of the area's boundary must be directly contiguous to the current city limits. Second, the area must meet at least one of 4 development tests. The first is the population density test, where the population within the area is at least 2.3 persons per acre. The second test, the subdivision test, requires that at least 60% of the total acreage within the area is subdivided into lots of 3 acres or less, and at least 65% of the total number of lots are 1 acre in size or less. Additionally, in this test, the area must have a total resident population equal to at least 1 person per acre. Third, in the development test, at least 60% of the total number of lots must be developed, and at least 60% of the acreage in residential or vacant use must consist of lots 3 acres or less in size. The fourth and final test, the non-residential urban use test, requires that all lots within the area are used for commercial, industrial, governmental, or institutional purposes. Annexation areas may also contain portions that are non-urban, as long as the non-urban portion or portions of the area do not exceed 25% of the total annexation area, and the non-urban areas are adjacent on at least 60% of their boundaries to existing city limits or areas developed for urban purposes. In terms of areas the City of Asheville looks for, the city tries to select areas that are clearly developed and meet state standards for urbanization, as well as having water and sewer lines already extended into the areas. The city also attempts to include pockets of unincorporated development and clarify boundaries. Where feasible and appropriate, we try to disperse areas geographically around the city's boundaries. The city has identified 12 areas as meeting the statutory requirements for annexation. The first area is the Ingles Area, located south of the current city limits at Long Shoals Road. It contains a gas station as well as portions of the supermarket and associated parking area. The area, consisting of 1 parcel and a portion of another, in addition to road right-of-way, contains 3.6 acres and has an estimated population of 0. This area meets the non-residential urban use test as set forth by the state. The second area is the Schenck Parkway area, surrounded by the current city limits west of Schenck Parkway. The area, 0.7 acres in size, is a portion of a parcel which contains a fast food restaurant and a convenience store. This area meets the non-residential urban use test. The third area is the Farleigh Street area, surrounded by the current city limits north of Farleigh Street. It includes a portion of a parcel which contains an office building and a portion of a parcel which contains a residential condominium building. The area contains 0.6 acres and has an estimated population of 0. This area meets the development test. The fourth area is the Deerfield Area, located south of the current city limits at Salisbury Drive. It is a portion of a parcel which contains a retirement community. The area contains 29.3 acres and currently has an estimated population of 0. This area meets the non-residential urban use test. The fifth area is the Mountainbrook Area, located southeast of the current city limits at Mountainbrook Road. It consists of one parcel which contains an assisted living community. The area contains 4.7 acres and has an estimated population of 65. This area meets the non-residential urban use test and the population density test. The sixth area is the Waters Road Area, located northwest of the current city limits at Waters Road and Wake Robin Way. It consists of portions of two parcels, each of which contains a residence. The area contains 0.63 acres and has an estimated population of 2. This area meets the population density, subdivision, and development tests. The seventh area is the Rocking Porch Road Area, located northwest of the current city limits at Rocking Porch Road. It consists of a portion of one parcel containing a residence. The area contains less than 0.01 acres and has an estimated population of 0. This area meets the development test. The eighth area is the Keasler Sunnycrest area, bordered by the current city limits on 3 sides at the intersection of Keasler Road and Sunnycrest Drive. It consists of 2 parcels, each of which contains a residence. The area contains 1.4 acres and has an estimated population of 4. This area meets the population density, subdivision, and development tests. The ninth area is the Upper Sondley Area, located north of the current city limits at Upper Sondley Drive. It consists of one parcel on which a residence is located. The area contains 0.98 acres and has an estimated population of 2. This area meets the subdivision test and the development test. The 10th area is the Tunnel Road Area, located southeast of the current city limits at Tunnel Road. The area, consisting of one parcel, in addition to road right-of-way, contains an office building. It contains 1.5 acres and has an estimated population of 0. This area meets the non-residential urban use test. The 11th area is the Willow Winds Area, located east of the current city limits at Willow Winds Lane. The area, consisting of one parcel, contains short-term rental units. It contains 12.1 acres and has an estimated population of 0. This area also meets the non-residential urban use test. The last area is the Airport Road Area, which intersects the current city limits in a number of places along the north side of Airport Road and along Rockwood Road. It is predominantly developed with commercial businesses. The area, which consists of 18 parcels, contains 122.1 acres and has an estimated population of 0. This area meets the development test. In terms of services the city plans to provide to these 3 areas, they include police protection, configuration of patrol districts covering the proposed annexation areas so as to provide for effective manpower deployment and a balanced response time to calls for service, adding 2 additional patrol units to accommodate the anticipated increase in demand for police services. The addition of 2 additional officers will allow the department to maintain the current ratio of calls for service for each sworn officer. Fire protection. Expansion of the city's fire department, absorbing the annexation areas into adjacent station service zones. Offering negotiated contract opportunities for 5 years to the rural fire districts that presently serve 7 of the annexation areas. Solid waste collection. Existing personnel and existing and planned equipment will be used to collect solid waste within the areas. Water distribution. Potable water and fire protection services are available to the proposed annexation areas on substantially the same level of service as other parts of the city. Therefore, no water system improvements are proposed. Sewer collection. Sewer line improvements are proposed for the Airport Road area and are to be completed within 2 years of the effective date of the annexation. Also, as part of the annexation services plan, the city is required to provide a financing plan that shows what the expected revenues and the expected expenditures for services will be and how the city plans to pay for these expenditures. This slide represents the revenue summary of the services plan. It includes revenues expected from the property taxes, the city's share of the state utility taxes, the city's share of the sales tax and Powell bill money from the state, and revenues from fees, charges, and permits. The total expected revenue generated by the 12 areas on an annual basis is estimated at $353,258. The impact for individual property owners depends on multiple variables. The expected city expenditures for services are broken down into two types, those that will occur annually and those that will require one-time capital expenditures. Annual costs are associated with the salaries of additional public safety staff needed as a result of the increase in population, fire contracts, and solid waste and recycling costs. These total $126,079 for the first 5 years and $85,969 after 5 years. Capital expenditures include costs for sewer line extensions, rollout garbage containers, and police and fire capital costs. They come to a total of $389,679. This concludes the presentation of the overview of the areas proposed for annexation and the Annexation Services Plan. We thank you for attending tonight's public information meeting and invite you to attend the annexation public hearing the City Council will hold on Tuesday, May 11th at 5:00 p.m. in the Council chambers located on the second floor of City Hall. Staff members of various city departments are located at the back of this room to answer specific questions concerning the services plan and annexation areas. We will now dismiss with the formal portion of this meeting so that you might have an opportunity to discuss services with the individual department representatives in attendance. Thank you again.